Hey soul babes, welcome to the Essence podcast. I'm your host Riss, and in this space I dive into the world of holistic wellness, creativity, and spirituality. Consider me your intuitive bestie here to guide you along the way of reconnecting with your essence. Together we'll explore what it means to live authentically, unapologetically, and in alignment with your soul's purpose. And in this week's episode, we are getting into the void. We're snuggling up in the cocoon of the womb before we step into this new portal, this new way of being, this new way of walking, this new way of seeing. So as I've mentioned, we had been going through a Mercury retrograde I talked about in that previous episode. And so now in this one, it is basically the exit that is happening. There was something that basically had disrupted us inside to see there needs to be a pivot. Big or small, but I want to say that it was big because Mercury was in Leo. So Mercury was speaking and preaching for you to indulge in some change. And so here you are in between, where there's a pause. There's this space where you don't actually know where you're going. You are only probably seeing like a foot, 2 feet, or 5 feet in front of you, and you're getting a little nervous. You are maybe trying not to panic, but it's kind of like the panic is there of like, okay, how do I do this? Like, how do I take this step in front of me? So this is my reminder to you to change my will into thy will. Again, there just might be some twists and turns that are going on right now of like wanting you to pause and rest. And we're going to get into this. We're going to get into what that pause is and why it's there. So grab your tea, grab your crystals, and whatever you need to get grounded and anchored into the present, and let's dive in.
In your divine essence you shine. In your divine essence you thrive. I'm your host Riss, and you're listening to Essence Podcast.
Alrighty, soul babes. So we're getting into that shift. I want you to take a breath with me. We're going to start off with breathing. Breathing in through the nose and exhale out of the mouth. 2 more times, breathing in and exhale out. Last time, I want you to breathe in and I want you to notice that pause that you just took. That slight, subtle pause. And then exhale. Let it go. You see how calm and nourishing that was? That split second. How fast that energy shift. How you started to sense that as you took a deep breath in, so much love and oxygen was coming through. And there was a pause, right? There was like this point where it sort of felt like you reached the top of a mountain and then you like exhaled and it was like if you're sliding down the mountain. That is the way life goes. We are constantly in motion, working our way up to the top. And then there's a subtle breeze and a break right there. And then we go down. And we're cruising, we're coasting, we are transforming. It is a whole process. It's a whole flow. And I want to say, first and foremost, congratulations. Congratulations for climbing up your mountains, climbing up your hills, getting to where you are right now. Because it's not easy being a human on this earth, and you have done so much work. It is a moment to celebrate. It's a moment to say, I did this. Like, I made it to the top of where I'm at. I love to do this for myself too, because I don't feel like we as a collective don't give ourselves enough props for just even being where we are right now. Like, if I were to personally see from where I started, of my podcast into being here now, it was like, damn, like my backdrop is a whole different thing. Like it took trial and error. My topics that I talk about, or like what I dive into, has been also just in finding my voice. That's been trial and error. Like making my way up that mountain, you making the way up your mountain, has been trial and error. And then also getting into a flow, right? Like we get into this flow of like getting used to it. Okay, this is what we do. Like this is on our agenda. We put this as a part of our flow. It's basically our algorithm. That is what we do as humans. We build an algorithm to make sense and structure out of basically making our way up a mountain. That is how we grow. But then while we're growing, and like while we're meeting people, and while we're making things, and while we're having thoughts, and while the energy is just accumulating and flowing around us, we get to the top of a mountain and we are told to pause. We are told to rest. We're told to sink in and reflect on what has been occurring, what's been coming in. It's like just that breeze of just, it whispers in your ear of rest, pause, wait. And a majority of us are ready to like slide down that hill and like reap our rewards and see our life just moving in a direction that is more towards that ultimate goal and that vision, which can sometimes blind us. Because sometimes we have this goal and this vision of like, okay, more money means more fun, more this means more that, like we think more and more and more. And I mean, that's part of the human process, and it's not a good or bad thing. But there is a balance that occurs. We have to be content with what we have in order to receive more. We have to be able to see that we already have enough and we've already are fulfilled. And where we're at on this mountain is just as beautiful as the next mountain. So that pause point, that pivotal point, it is, yes, that reflection. It's for you to reflect and see everything that you've yet to accomplish and do. It is all part of that beautiful accumulation. But then, while we're up there, it's also this place of shedding. It's this place of recalibrating, redirecting. Like, was that algorithm working for us? Was that way of being serving me? Like, is it that part of me supposed to exist with my higher self, or was that just to get me to this mountain and now I'm going to slide down this one and start to elevate my consciousness in a different way? So we are switching and adjusting as we go. And while we're up there, this is where we also are feeling we're in this womb space. We are in this void space. Because before we go down this hill, we have to basically rebirth ourselves. We have to shed that old mindset. We have to shed the way of how we perceive something and now go down our mountain with a new way of planning how to get closer to our vision and our dream, how to start to embody more of that highest version of ourselves. I like to call this, and of course you'll hear it many times, our higher self. That is the version of us that is aligned with that vision that we see. And we are going along the journey of just being able to pick up the tools that worked, what didn't work, and sliding down. So while you're at the top of your mountain right now, while you're taking your pause in your breathing, it is best to give yourself that space to do so, to give yourself the space to honor the feminine within. The feminine energy is in all of us. So that is your heart center, your throat, your third eye, and your crown is your God consciousness. It is both feminine and masculine. It's that antenna that connects you to your highest self. And so while you're flowing up, while you've basically already did the survival, putting one foot in front of the other, pushing through energy, you are now having to come back to filling yourself up fully with these beautiful spaces of being in your heart, being able to speak your truth and being honest with yourself and seeing again that clarity that you need to move yourself further. I'm going to share a lot of like what I do in the void, and I too tend to have like a little bit of a hard time still staying here and being here, because when you're in a momentum, when you're in this fiery like go 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 masculine, especially this is what the world projects a lot, is like, well, especially here in America, it's like you are going to work your way to the top. You're going to work, and then you retire. You know, like you're going to do all of this first before you actually have your fun, before you actually have your pause and your moment to rest. And rest is for the weekends. That is something that we need to change already. So this is the moment that is basically speaking to you of like what you're seeing happening. Maybe you got sick. Maybe you started to see that your clients weren't coming in. Maybe you started to see that you had a a brain fog, or you were just getting these ideas and pings to like rest. You're yawning a lot more. You're probably seeing that in this place basically of just staying still, of resting and pausing. So while you're in that place, what I love to do is to take on things that don't necessarily need a lot of thinking, just a lot of flowing. So I've been working on a puzzle piece. I've been planning to meet up with friends, and a lot of reflection here in this space, a lot of revisiting old projects, and a lot of seeing what's more important for me. This is this place of the womb where you start to just shed basically everything that's just not serving, and letting yourself take on things that really need you right now. I also love to pull cards during this time, so doing a card reading on myself allows me to get more clarity. And I've done more than one card reading in this whole process. I literally have been doing a card reading almost every day, if not twice a day, just to remind myself, number one, that it's okay to rest. Number two, that I am needing a little bit of help on like what that clarity looks like. Like, how am I going about this? And sometimes, we like to confuse ourselves. We like to be like, okay, is this really true for me or is this not? Like, we psych ourselves out, especially when we're hearing the voices of other people around us constantly chitty chatting about what they believe and what their truth is. And like, that's okay to hear. I mean, we all respect each other's truth, but it blinds us from really seeing what the heck is our truth. What are we wanting? We love that we have a support team. We love that we have people around us, but maybe we even outgrown those people. Maybe we are outgrowing a neighborhood or a job again, like, or a relationship or a friendship that just is like, it needs some recalibrating. It needs a tweaking or just needs to be let go of. And that is the process of the womb, is just to let that reflection happen, to let that space happen, but don't force it again. Like, that's why I'm using puzzles to also be a part of like where I get to play. I get to really just kind of distract my mind, because my mind's kind of like still in this like I need to do something. So let's do something that's a lot more relaxing or fun. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a puzzle, but it could be some sort of just other activity that takes up the space of what could have been. And if you are your own boss, then of course that is where you have to set the tone of like, okay, I give myself permission to take time off. I give myself a permission to slip out, and I'm always on it, but I give myself permission to be able to rest. And the same goes even if you were at a 9 to 5, or you are like, you give yourself permission. You are important. You have to put your mask on first before you can basically go about your life and start going down the hill and climbing up another one. So it is really about getting out of this place right now of my will and turning it to thy will. So thy will is that higher self, like your God consciousness, God, the ultimate creator. That version of you is wanting to guide you. You're basically seeing that right now. The old agenda, the way that you went about something, or how you were in this algorithm of moving, it needs that adjustment. Just like you see on social media, there's always this adjustment that's occurring. Like the algorithm is picking up the most like up to date and latest way of moving. And sometimes when that algorithm in us is like it's not fully serving and it needs something to sort of buffer in while we integrate something that's like going to be our flow. And so basically right now your algorithm is just needing a bit of tweaking. The algorithm that you are following is not is an old system. It's basically that update. Just like how you see computers on your phone get updates, that is like what is happening for you. There is just this new version of you that needs to be fully downloaded, that needs to be fully integrated, and it needs you to take your time. It needs you to take some time again to rest and to pause, to take a breather. So give yourself space and time to really sit in this portal and know that it is happening for you. The universe wants to guide you, and the universe has your back. You are not alone in this process. That vision, again, that you see in front of you is not necessarily something that you fulfill on your own. You are being guided to do so. You are being the channel, the conduit of light to get you there. And it's not just about that destination, it's also about that journey, the experience itself, because I believe when you pass away, that is, of course, when you are going to start to see, like, okay, was my mission on Earth, was it fulfilled, or did I have some hiccups? And I do believe, like, you can reincarnate and do it again, or, move to other planets and be able to learn your lessons and grow in other ways that suit you. But in this lifetime, you have a mission, you have something that you are to fulfill in your own divine essence. And giving yourself that space to sit in the void is just basically you just being in that incubator of light, just really soaking in and letting Mother Earth and the cosmic mother cocoon you. Like letting both as above, so below, heaven and earth cocoon you, because you are just at this pause, at this pivot moment. And when you slide down that hill, it's going to feel like a celebration. It's going to feel like, oh, thank God, like, woo, I did that. And like, I felt like I grew and it was fun, honestly, at the end of it. I mean, it was not fun to get through that hardship, but I mean, fun is what it equals to. It equals to celebration and more freedom and more liberty and integrity for yourself in your future. And taking just that moment of pause is highly, highly encouraged. And that is what is probably highly being asked of you right now if you are listening to this message. So I hope this message finds you well, Soul Babe. And it is a bit of a short and sweet one, but I too am resting and pausing. And lastly, before I end this message, I would like for you to place your hand on your heart or on your stomach and let's breathe together and say some affirmations. Breathing in through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth. Breathing in again through the nose. Just feeling that slight pause at the top. And then exhale. Last time breathing in. This time we're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Beautiful. Now with your eyes closed, you can repeat after me. I trust that I am guided. I allow myself to rest. I allow myself to pause. I honor my mind, body, and soul. And I know my future is bright. Yes, so be it. Thank you, Soul Babes, for being here and for just really tuning in with yourself first and foremost, and knowing that you've got so much in store is it's icing on the cake. Stick with that. Stick with that hope and that faith, because all that you're dreaming is not crazy. It is all very relevant and real. It's just a matter of making it happen in reality. And that again comes with just allowing adjustments and tweaks to the mindset, to the body, to recalibrate into that higher version of you. So if you liked hearing this message, I ask that you please share with your friends and your family and whoever feels like they need to hear the void and the message of basically resting. And if you would like to hear more about being in your essence, be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Essence of Riss. You can also find all my episodes of Essence Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And I'll see you in the next one, Soul Babes.